Hi, and welcome back to the Bandwich Tapes. I'm Brad Williams. On today's episode, I'm thrilled to have a conversation with my old pal, Eddie Brumlow. Eddie and I met years ago through our friend George Sandler, and we sparked an immediate musical kinship that's lasted to this day. We played a bunch of gigs together over the years in a bunch of different configurations, and I think he's one of the best guitar players I've ever been able to play with. He also runs a very successful teaching studio that he's had for a long time and has had many, many students over the years that have gone on to do great things in the music industry. And we talk about running a studio and just his incredible career as a performer and educator. And I think you'll enjoy it. So here's my conversation with my friend, Eddie Brumlow. Eddie, it is good to see your face, man. How are you today?
I'm doing great. It's good to see you too. Been a long time, but always good to see you. We had some great fun together.
Yeah, we sure did. I've been thinking back about that, just in preparation for us talking today, and yeah, we had some really good moments playing music together over the years. Really a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shared a lot of the same friends and played with a lot of the same people when we weren't playing together.
That's exactly right. And as we're recording this, both you and I have relocated from living in Georgia, and I'm in St. Louis now, and you're living in
Ohio.
Ohio. You've been there a couple of months now?
Yeah, like just at 9 weeks, I think.
Okay. What was the impetus of you guys relocating up there?
My oldest son and the two older grandkids. I have 4.
Okay. Yeah. My wife is from St. Louis, and we knew at some point we would land up here where all of her family is, and it just seemed like the right time. Our daughter was about to go into middle school. We were like, yeah, let's do it. So yeah, I get it. It's good to be with the family, you know?
Yeah. Well, musicians typically never really retire, but this is probably as close to retirement as me and my wife Sonny will do, since singing is what she's always done.
Yeah.
For me, playing and teaching.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. I play just a little bit. I play every Sunday at a church, just volunteering at a church. And we'll just play on some remote sessions that some buddies will send me every now and then. And that's really all I'm doing. And it's really by choice. I'm kind of enjoying just taking a little bit step back from it. I don't know what it's like for you, but I've kind of enjoyed not playing like I used to.
Me too. Now I play all the time in this room.
Yeah.
But not playing out. I only occasionally miss it.
Yeah.
And I'm really enjoy playing at church. That's always been a part of my musician's life. And there's one pastor of a really good church here. I ran into him at the fair. They really want me to play there, and then they have excellent musicians. So I think things are slowing down enough as far as adjusting after the move and all of that. I told him I would be there soon. So we'll see where that goes.
That's awesome.
After today.
Yeah, it's funny. The guy that does the music at the church where I play, our daughters go to school together, and we met at a choir concert and got to talking, and he was like, why don't you come and play? And I wasn't really even thinking I wanted to do it. And I went and started doing it, and I'm like, yeah, this is just enough. It's, as we're recording this, you just went to the fair with your family on Saturdays, and in our former life, that would have never been on the table. We would have been at a gig setting up somewhere hours in advance, right?
Exactly. And looking back, course, I have a great relationship with all of my kids. I'm thankful for that. My grandkids, but I wish I'd have been there to take pictures for prom and stuff like that when the kids were going. But guys like you and me, that's just when we earn a lot of our money is on the week.
Yeah, that's it. And I feel like I say on here a lot, talking about that my former life doing that. It's like when I was at home on the weekends or during the week, I was either catching up on all the stuff I needed to do or catching up on the rest that I had missed from the weekend, or I was preparing for what I had coming up next. And I just kind of felt like a passenger in my own life a lot of the time.
Um, I mean, I'm very thankful for all of the time that I spent that busy and doing that. But you had to really put a lot of effort into just planning a family vacation
Yeah. Yeah.
because
Lining
you
up
know how
subs or,
we
yeah.
would book gigs out in the heyday and the big paying casuals and some tours and stuff that I did, weddings. You might have those dates booked over a year in
Yeah.
advance.
Yeah. It does require a ton of coordination just to make all of that happen,
Yeah,
you know. Now, all that said, I wouldn't trade anything for all of those times, you
I
know.
say the same thing.
You know. I mean, you and I wouldn't be sitting here as friends getting to talk to each other if all of that hadn't happened because we wouldn't have ever met each other, you know. We'd have
That's
never met our buddy George Sandler back in the day, you know. Crazy
that's
George,
right.
you know.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. How did you meet George, by the way? I was wondering that.
He moved to Conyers in 1981 and came to our high school. I want to say at the end of ninth grade year, George showed up. So we just hit it off for
Yeah.
some reason. And you know what a friendly and unique personality George has. I'd say in a lot of ways we were alike, in other ways different, but we had music in common right away.
Yeah.
And it was one of the first people I played with, as a teenager, forming bands and things like
Hmm.
that. We just hit that off.
Yeah.
Now, I started playing in church when I was right at 8 years old.
Oh,
My
wow.
Yeah, my dad was a pastor, and I was already playing guitar anyway at that age. Could strum along. Me and these adults around me. I didn't realize how unique and what a good thing that was for me
Hmm.
for a lot of years. But boy, I sure learned a lot from the old guys that were in their 20s and 30s.
You know, I was in a similar situation being around musicians older than me when I was a kid. And the music education that you and I received from those people that, you know, just took it upon themselves to kind of pour into us. It was pretty amazing. I'm sure it was that way for you too.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, studying music in college helped me assimilate and use a lot of stuff. But I tell you, by the time I started college as a teenager, I had played with such good people my whole life. I probably could have kept going without any kind of education of that sort and done okay, like a lot of musicians have done. But yeah, it helped me a lot to get some structure and really understand the whys instead of just
Sure.
hearing and figuring out.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I could play guitar and then bass pretty good and still didn't know what I was doing. Knowing what you're doing helps you to be able to play in just about any situation.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah.
Well, and we can touch on this later on, but you know, you've had quite an extensive teaching studio over the years too,
I really have.
and to be able to, it takes a certain amount of knowledge to be able to do something, but then it takes even more to be able to explain it to someone else because I think you have to know beyond the subject to be able to communicate it to somebody.
That's true. Now you and I know people that are masters at their craft, And as far as playing, the knowledge, and I'm sure there are people that consider you one of those masters, or they'll say something like that to me, but I know what a real master is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But getting what's in the hands and the head into the hands and head of another person, there's something special there that can be developed over time. But I think you just got to have the personality. It really helps if you love doing it. If you
Yeah.
love seeing somebody else improving with the knowledge that you were able to share.
Yeah.
And you see that. For me, it's been as rewarding as playing on stage in front of 5,000 people who are having a great time.
Yeah.
I don't hear too many teachers say or feel about it like I do, but that's true. I mean, for me, I enjoy one-on-one with a single student who's really into it. I get as big a thrill, or it lasts longer, definitely lasts longer than I felt playing in front of the biggest, funnest crowds, and a club with 5 or 6 people there. That can be a blast and a lot of fun too if they're into it.
Yeah.
And I'm certainly no touring legend or anything like that, not even close. But I've enjoyed all the playing experiences. Just saying, I enjoy teaching and continue to enjoy that equally as much.
Yeah. Well, and it's one of those things that, I know that you've had an impact on people as a teacher, but it's one of those things that you probably will never fully understand the seeds that you sowed in someone's life that maybe made them a better player. However, they may have taken the knowledge of how to learn something and translate it into another part of their life that's caused them to be successful in other ways too,
Yeah, I mean, I've thought about that, but I just won't ever know.
Yeah.
But I have students, several who spent anywhere from 5 to 12 years with me, showing up every week. That's a real commitment on their part.
Yeah, it is.
I feel like it means I was helping and they wanted to come back. And you might notice this several times today, but I can lose my train of thought pretty quick. You might have to reel me in and put me back on point. What were we talking about right before I got lost there?
Oh, well, we were talking. Well, we've gone all over the place already. We've been talking about,
haven't we?
we're talking about private lessons, and I've got
Oh
a million
yeah, I
questions
was
about
just saying I get a real kick out of seeing some of these students. One of which spent 8 years with me. He's been the lead guitar player for Collective Soul now for the last 15 years.
Oh, wow.
Jesse Triplett, if anybody wants to check him out, he's done a great job in that role. And I won't drop any more names, but bands of that caliber, I have several students that are still playing in groups like that. And as well as some that maybe only spent 2 or 3 years with me, and there are other teachers too. See them out there doing really well and successful. That's something I'm aware of. But long after I'm gone, I hope that what I've shared continues to get passed along.
Yeah.
And there have been 3 occasions, because I started teaching before I really had it all together. I mean, I was in my late teens, early 20s, and started giving lessons. You know how it is. You've been asked, hey, do you give lessons? Could you teach me to play like that?
Yeah.
And you're phenomenal. Just let me go ahead, and that ain't blowing smoke. I've always been amazed at your gift.
Back at you, baby.
Well, thank you so much. I have taught the granddad, his son, and grandson.
Wow.
On 3 occasions over a 40-year spread.
Wow.
That has happened to me. And that's just fantastic.
That is amazing.
And in one case, the grandfather is now 102 years old, and they're all still living.
Whoa.
Playing together.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
That is incredible.
That gives me goosebumps.
Yeah.
Every
No
time
kidding.
I think about it.
Yeah. So are you still So how is your studio set up now? Are you still teaching people from Georgia? Are you doing some virtual stuff? Are you only teaching in person? What is your studio like now?
Well, like I said, I've only been here 2 months, but I have picked up four locals that come in here to the studio, and I've got 16 of Conyers, Atlanta, Covington-based students that are still with me every week, just on video like we're doing now.
Yeah.
And that's great. All of these were far enough along. We haven't really lost anything by having to do it by video.
Yeah.
I guess other than sometimes it's difficult for both of us to play at the same time, but there is a feature that I have my son installed on here where we can do it. He's a television engineer for the TBN Trinity Broadcast
Oh, cool.
Network, and he's actually the top guy.
Really?
His
That's awesome.
his grandparents, his grandmother was the sister of Jan Crouch, Paul and Jan Crouch of TBN.
Yeah.
So
Really?
yeah, they were born into that that job, but he and his brother Nathan, they excelled in video and TV, recording, editing, engineering.
Yeah.
So
Man, that's awesome.
yeah, and my wife was born into gospel music legacy family. Her mom and dad both were part of the Lefevres.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
I did not realize that. Yeah, I mean, I've heard that name my entire life.
yeah. Sonny's mother and dad sang with the Lefevres. Not just sang with them, hired hands that were paid to go around and sing with them as part of the group. And they also had their own group they put together called the Daly Trio. My wife's maiden name is Daly. And they won the quartet convention in Nashville back in 1969.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
A trio won the gospel quartet.
Yeah, that's crazy.
My wife's mom and dad, absolutely.
Well, I remember her. She's quite a singer, I mean, really
Thank
good
you.
singer. Yeah.
Thank you. She's a great lead singer, but her harmony is, I mean, she's been called on probably almost as frequently as I'm exaggerating. I started to say Michael McDonald, but everybody in that genre knows that Sonny can sing any part or
Yeah.
sing all the parts and
Right.
stack them up. So she's done
Well,
that.
and singing with a family group, you understand how to balance and blend. Maybe I think going through that singing with your family members teaches you that maybe as well as anything else can do.
It does. Her sister is 2 years older than her, and those two can sing with anybody, and they can polish. You know what we're thinking? Those two girls can add the polish. That's for sure,
Really?
and make anybody think they sing good.
Yep. I know exactly what you're talking about. That's awesome. I think I played some gigs with you guys because you had a corporate wedding band for a long time, didn't you?
Over 30 years.
Yeah. What was the name of your band?
Well, it was Music in Motion,
Mm-hmm.
which morphed into Technicolor Radio,
Yep.
which morphed into Party on the Radio. And I was the mainstay, but I would call people that were originally with me in Music in Motion to come sub in for Party on the Radio, especially. But Technicolor Radio was the version that you played in with me once, and then another time you did Party on the Radio,
Yeah.
where my wife was singing with that
Yeah.
as well. And of course, me, you, and George there was a time Mark Manuel called us his A team. It was like the Mark Manuel band, and he said we were the A team. And I haven't been long talking to him. He still does that.
Does he still do
thing.
that?
Yeah. And I don't know how long it's been since George played with him, but not all that long. as
Really?
recently as within the last year.
Yeah, we used to go and he would do like those like youth Christian retreat type
That's
things.
right. He called that Scream.
Yes.
The letters stand for something, youth oriented. But yeah, did you ever play one of those? Like it was the Athens Y Camp out at Tallulah Gorge,
Yep.
going towards.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I played that with him quite a few times. I played
I did as well. So I'm sure we did that together. That's
yeah.
what I remember in my head anyway.
And it was always like we would play the songs for him while he was singing, which was fun, and then we would play songs with ourselves while they were playing games, and it was kind of like our chance to play whatever songs we wanted to do, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. And he'd have like stunt bikers and jugglers
Yeah.
and we would provide the music for those performers. And yeah, we definitely had fun throwing down
Yeah.
among those Christian youths with our versions of Hendrix songs or Journey or Bad Company.
Or Cult of Personality. I remember us playing
Yeah,
that.
yes, play that funky music.
Well, these teenagers that were there, yeah, they were like, "What are these old guys doing?" Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I played bass on a bunch of those with him, and I played drums on quite a few of them with him too. I met him, and he kind of had a rotating cast of characters that would
Yeah,
play. But I would agree, I really enjoyed when it was me and you and George playing together. That was a lot of fun.
me too. That was a blast. I think I only did bass like on 3 occasions with him. The rest of the time, it would be guitar.
Yeah.
And he called me as recently as last year, but I actually had a gig with a Elvis
Hmm.
impersonator and wasn't able to do that. But I would have gone and done it again myself.
Yeah, yeah, it was always a lot of fun. Really, always enjoyed getting to play with Mark. So, I see you have an Eddie Van Halen T-shirt on. I was going to ask you about who some of your influences are, and I would be think it's safe to say that Eddie's probably at the top of the list, right, of your guitar
He
heroes.
he is. This is kind of old and faded, but that was a image that was made into a poster of him. Became a real famous black and white photograph. I had that inked on, and Jimi Hendrix setting his guitar on
Oh,
fire.
that's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. Eddie was my number one influence as a kid, initially, as far as popular guitar players. I was influenced by my granddaddy. I still have his Gretsch hollow body. That was the first guitar I actually learned to play anything on. That's here at the house. It's not in the studio, or I'd show it to you.
Hmm.
But I still have the first guitar that I ever played, not banged on, but actually played. And it's still got that old timey, the, almost like a cord rope that they used way back in those days.
Yes.
It's got the original one on there.
Oh, wow.
I've kept that on
That's
there.
so cool.
Yeah. So I was 6 years old, had that thing hanging around me and dwarfing me.
Yeah. What kind of stuff was he playing? Because my grandfather played. I had an uncle that played a lot, so I was hearing a lot of like Chet Atkins stuff around my family when I was a kid.
Granddaddy was more into country, bluegrass, that alternating bass,
Hmm.
Travis Pickens,
Yeah,
that kind of evolved through Chet,
yeah.
especially. He would do that, popular songs of his day as a youngster, and a lot of gospel music, bluegrass,
Hmm.
Hank Williams,
Yeah.
things like that. And then both of my mother's brothers played as well and lived in our home as very young men finding their way in the world. They'd move in with their big sister for a while, and I got the benefit of both of them being guitar players and singers. So I did have people to play with
Yeah.
regularly as a young boy.
Well, and I know you are aware of this, and it's one thing to get to play music, but there's no substitute than with playing with other people, right? You can sit and play in your bedroom all you want, but you got to play with other people to really understand what it's all about, especially in the formative years.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm amazed at the level of skill I see in these early elementary school aged children and some of the 3, 4, and 5 year old children, especially in other countries where
Hmm.
it's a different, things are different for kids in other countries, and there a lot more is expected of them.
Yeah,
And so a lot of the young Asian children, they just blow my mind
yeah, it's
how
amazing.
good they are. But getting back to playing with other people, I have had students come to me who really floored me with how good they were. And if I were to say, okay, do you know what key you did all of that in? A lot of times they're not even aware of that. So
Yeah,
I can't suggest, let's play that in another key. And so I think as good as YouTube is, I mean, you and I'm a little older than you, but we didn't grow up with tablature when we were young boys playing and videos that we could watch note by note. I mean,
right.
somebody had to show us. I really wrecked a lot of records, LPs, and stretched cassette tapes from fast forwarding and rewinding the same parts over and over. That's how we learned.
Yeah, that we didn't have the ability of like an app that would slow the song down so we could play along with it, right?
Yeah, we could play the album at 33 and a third, but
Right.
finding that octave, it just didn't sound the same
Right.
at the slow speed. I think the 33 and a third, did it drop it down a whole octave, or would it be like just random keys that it might drop
I
down
think
to?
it yeah, I don't think it dropped it in a full octave. I think it was just I can't remember what the interval was, but yeah, it just did. It just altered the pitch of it with the speed.
So I could learn that way and did learn a lot that way. But then when I turn it back to normal speed,
Right.
I have to find where it was on the deck and move all that around, which wasn't a bad thing to have to do. That taught transposition of a sort.
Right.
Uh, yeah, so I am amazed with how good and how quick kids can get now just because they have access to
Yeah.
things we didn't have access to. Unfortunately, I think they're developing muscle memory like they would play in games, and they sound great. They're fun to watch, but they need to play with somebody else.
Yeah, I
That's the
agree.
whole. That's the whole point.
Yeah,
That's where we really, really learned.
I
You
agree. I completely agree. Yeah, there's no substitute for that, and I do. I have. It's funny you bring this up because I was going to ask you if you had seen because you've been teaching for a long time. If you saw a shift in your students once YouTube became a big thing, when and I don't want to call it a cheat code a little bit to learning something, but maybe you can call it that a little bit. There are some shortcuts to learning it, and I was curious whether you had seen a shift in maybe how your students would come to their lessons prepared or not prepared based on watching a bunch of videos to get them to where they needed to be.
Yes, definitely. The ones that just had taught themselves to use tablature and just do video lessons, you got to know they just went right to the fun stuff that tickled their ear first, left out all the understanding and
Mm-hmm.
the knowledge. And by that time, they come to me. I have physical skills. I can play for you, but don't ask me what key I'm in or to play along to some rhythm you're going to provide.
Right.
Or yeah, so that would be one extreme.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other extreme has been a lot of folks that already had acquired some knowledge, maybe from a teacher or two, and then YouTube and tablatures really helped them learn faster, and they knew what they were doing to a degree. And I'll be the first teacher. I make my living teaching, even now that I don't require the same amount of income that I did. Honestly, I do this anyway. I do
Mm-hmm.
it for free. If I didn't have need to earn any money, I'd
Right.
do it for free because I love doing it. But I'm all for the YouTube videos. I'm fine with tablature if I get students that already have learned that way and they just want a teacher that'll pick right up with where they're at and go from there. I do that. I'll have them come in and say, I don't want to waste my time or money with notes on a page and anything resembling Mary Had a Little Lamb or what have you. I meet them where they're at. But knowing the benefit of just average music theory, understanding triads and the diatonic harmony in a major or a minor scale / key, I'm always wanting to share that. And I find ways of getting that in so that, let's say, if all somebody does with me in a year is learn 10 songs perfectly. Well, when they leave, what have they learned if they didn't let me share the music knowledge in those 10 songs? They've learned 10 songs that they cannot do anything with except play with somebody else that knows those 10 songs or one of the 10. And that person better be able to play it at the tempo and have all the parts down.
Right. And in the same,
there ain't going to be no adjusting on the
right.
fly.
And in the one key that they play it in, right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I also run into is just they built up all this skill with shortcuts and they can't play along with anybody.
Yeah.
And it's sad, really.
Well, because, skill and knowledge are two very different things, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. So you said that you studied music in college. Did you do guitar performance or what was your?
I did. So I started having, I didn't have them, but I was married at the age of 19 and had children really young. So let's just say my college education took about 9 years to.
That's all right. It's all right.
But I was persistent. And in music, as a music major, small university like Georgia State or my associates, that was in classical guitar, what was called DeKalb Community College back there.
Yep.
Became Georgia Perimeter.
Yes.
And if you wanted more advanced study, you had to go to another school like Georgia State, which is where I went and spent a lot of years working, having a family, and still trying to accomplish that. That took a long time.
So you had done some classical guitar in college. Did you do like jazz stuff too? Were you playing like a rock ensemble?
Jazz performance.
Okay.
Was the 4-year, and classical was the 2-year.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. And I got a lot of wedding gigs off of the classical stuff.
Yeah.
Eventually, I get real sick of having to maintain my nails. So I have such a short nail bed. I mean, I got a lot of finger that comes out past those fingernails. You can imagine my right hand looked like I had fangs on it. And then having to keep those up, it was kind of exhausting.
Yeah.
So I still have the classical. You can see a little behind me. All of the good stuff is on the wall in front of me. This studio has all concrete walls. So that's why you don't see them on the walls up here. I got exhausted, but I could pick this camera up and turn it around, and you can see I've got screws through the concrete holding all these guitars up
Guitars
on the
everywhere.
wall.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but I still have my classical guitar from college, which was a handmade Takamine back when they still handmade them in Japan. So,
Wow.
yeah, it's I still play it all the time. Just the tone's different because I'm not growing these
I'm not
nails
growing those nails out. No.
anymore.
No, I don't blame you. Did you get into the jazz thing very much, or was it just kind of a means to an end in college, or did you play a lot of jazz in those days?
At the time, it was a means to an end because it was all that was offered if you wanted a performance degree.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can, and I say it was all that was offered. It was all that was offered at a collegiate level where I could drive to,
Sure.
still live at home with my wife and kids and all of that stuff. I could have gone to GIT or something like that, but even that didn't have the 4 years when I was that age. I know they offer that now in Atlanta. AIM,
Mm-hmm.
I think they call
Yeah.
it. But they didn't then. It was a real intensive 2 year program. And actually, I have had quite a number of students when I was there in the Atlanta area that would come to me after completing their stuff at AIM, their 2 years at AIM. They were putting out some great students by the end of that program.
Yeah.
I'm not going to knock anybody that's gone through that because I've seen that AIM and is it Musicians Institute that's a part of, or is that something different?
I believe it is. I believe it is part of that.
Okay, I had one Berkeley graduate, Berkeley up north, not
Mm-hmm.
out in California,
In
that
Boston.
came for lessons. Now, that guy was really good. He just wanted to meet with me, to go into deeper concepts. Of course, they show you all the modes of the major and like the relative minor, Aeolian mode. I won't talk all that for people that wouldn't be interested in that. But this guy had it together after doing the whole 4 years there at Berkeley. But we got into modes from any kind of scale, just showing them all the different ways to play over a chord. I have that knowledge and I stay up on it for students that are interested in that. I want to be able to teach a guitar player, bass player, anything they want to learn.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll learn Marcus Miller songs on the bass and stuff like that. Oh, speaking of Marcus Miller, I have a student that is the piano player in his current touring band, Xavier Gordon. Yeah, and I've got lots of pictures of me and Xavier stored in my hard drive. Him taking bass at my house, guitar, and he was the keyboard player for the Jamie Foxx show when Jamie Foxx had a talk show
No
on
kidding.
TV. Yeah, I've got pictures of Xavier with Jennifer Hudson. He was the keyboard player on a couple of her albums. And he lives in LA now, and he is really doing something.
Wow.
And his dad, Stanley Gordon, is the African American gentleman that sang in Party on the Radio with me and Sonny for over 10 years.
No kidding.
Yeah, he has really excelled and was a good player when he started taking lessons with me. He was more interested in taking his piano skills and adapting that to guitar and bass. But that young had no depth in theory.
Mm-hmm.
So I really taught him that stuff on the guitar.
Wow.
He translated it all to piano. Now, he did go and get a college degree education and all of that.
Yeah.
That's how we connected. Basically, yeah, he learned to play the guitar and the bass, but he mostly learned the theory that he didn't have up to that point.
Yeah.
Which he had a great piano teacher, also a friend of mine.
Man.
But his concentration from the get was just being a great player.
Yeah, well, and if he's taking lessons on all these instruments. I mean, it's, he's
Well,
understanding voicings on everything.
he realized on his own he could listen to something one time and almost in a savant like manner come back and play. I'd say on average 75% of the time he'd be absolutely correct on
Wow.
playback. So one of those.
Yeah.
But he wanted to know the whys and all of that. He wasn't old enough to go to college. He was a kid. So his daddy hooked him up with his good friend, and we went to work.
That's so cool.
His piano teacher back then was Jimmy Mayo, who was.
Oh, I remember Jimmy. Yeah.
Jimmy's excellent musician, but Jimmy just couldn't get him to connect to the theory, but Jimmy sure taught him well.
Yeah. Wow, that's awesome.
That's another thing with kids, getting them to give a rat's behind about music theory. They just want to be able to play songs.
Yeah.
So that's a challenge for a lot of teachers, and I've never been the one to get angry or raise my voice or be hard or have students leaving in tears or.
Yeah.
I couldn't make myself do that.
No.
Take your money and go get another teacher if that's what you want for your kid. That's not me.
Yeah. Well, and it's part of the art of being a good teacher is, you can have a concept, but you have to understand how to adjust the way you communicate that based on who that person is that you're teaching. You may teach it one way to this person, but you may have to adjust your approach to another person based on either their age or who
right
they are.
Nose, brother. Every time I get somebody that's already a competent player, but they just want to advance either in technique or knowledge, I'm going to teach them the same tried and true things that we all learned from. I mean, it's all there in the textbooks on how to and what this is and how to go about it. It's all there, but people take that in different ways. It's always related to their personality. Mm-hmm. You've almost got to be a really good armchair psychologist.
Completely. I could not agree with you more.
Which was my minor in college. So
there you go.
I think I learned some skills there. I was just interested in psychology, trying to understand all the strange people on both sides of my family tree way back.
Boy, I get it.
Turned out I was the strangest one of all of them.
That's right. Yeah, every family has a weird one, and if you think yours doesn't, then you're the weird one, right?
Right here, brother.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah, but you have to adjust to every person. And if it's somebody brand new, I have had them sit down and hold the guitar wrong or upside down or have the bass turned completely around or strung backwards, or they don't know any better.
Yeah.
You get start beginners like that, you still have to adjust to the personality before you can go anywhere.
Or you have those students that show up that, they don't have any desire to take lessons at all, but mom and dad are wanting them to do it. And, it's like you feel like taking their money.
Yes. Thank God I was not in that position very long, but because I really did, in the nicest, sweetest way possible, suggest to the parents that money could be used for shoes, clothes, something that child really needed, because I've always wanted to enjoy what I was doing and not feel like I'm babysitting somebody that doesn't want to be there. Now, I had bills to pay at a young age, and I allowed myself to go through some of that just to be paid.
Yeah.
But eventually I matured enough to know it's not worth it. Buy cheaper products or whatever. Use the generic food. You don't need the money this bad.
That's exactly right. Well, and it's not doing a service to those young kids either, because somewhere down the road they may want to do it on their own terms, and you don't want them to have a bad experience with it at the beginning and then maybe not want to do it down the road,
My own youngest tried introducing guitar to Elliot. He'll be 26 July the 4th. And at 7 years old, I bought him one of those mini Fender Stratocasters because he had expressed interest. He would watch me, but right away he didn't take to that.
Yeah.
3 years later, he comes back, and I couldn't believe how good he got in a year's time.
Really?
He was ready and wanted it. And somebody else's child, it could be dance or archery or fishing or something that they would be really passionate about. I don't want them to waste their money paying me. If you're going to spend that money, you really need to connect with your child at the level of what is it that you would really like to do.
Yeah.
Then promote that, finance that, encourage that. As long as it's something legal and not harming or self-harming that
Right.
they want to be really
Exactly.
good at.
Yeah, because look, I've heard stories from. I never experienced this as a private teacher, but I've heard people where maybe a mom and dad, they wanted to learn how to play a musical instrument when they were a kid, and they didn't get a chance to, or whatever. And now it's like, all right, now my kid's going to do what I always wanted to do, and the kid may not have a single bit of interest in it at all.
That's exactly right. And guys who have done this forever, like people you would know, like Jody Worrell, well, when I want to name people, I can't think of them, but you would know them all. We've all experienced that same thing repeatedly.
Yeah.
Parents shouldn't do that, and I don't want to be a part of it.
Yeah, that's it. I don't want to take somebody's money just for the sake of it.
That's right.
Yeah.
The work that you do now, in addition to anything you do with music, you like that there's a need for what you're doing, and people want that and seek you for that. You wouldn't want them to call you just because yours was one of the numbers in the phone book.
No.
They happen to land on you and really don't care who does the job. They just want to get it done. I would do it if it was a job that needed my skills too. But I like being selected and chosen.
100%.
Yeah. And I actually, I know more than 20 years, the potential students don't know it when they call, but I'm listening and I'm trying to connect with their personality. I'm screening when I'm on the phone with them, and not in any way a racial screaming, because I lived in Conyers, Georgia. If I'd have been screening based on race, I would have never met anybody or
Right.
any student.
Yeah, that's
But
right.
I'm just always making sure that I'm going to be able to benefit who's on the other end of that line.
That's it.
You know.
As you're looking back on, because I have a list that I'll remember for the rest of my life of some of the best gigs I ever played, some of the coolest things I ever got to do. What are some? Do you have any of those that kind of are at the top of your mind that you remember? What are some of those that you'll always remember?
Great ones.
I want to hear about some of them.
Do you remember, or were you ever aware of an agency in Atlanta, talent agency? Not as well known as, say, East Coast or Axtell, but one that was called Aspen Productions.
I think
Phelps Hope ran that.
I remember that name, yeah.
And I think Phelps came there after he had worked with Alice Trammell from All Star Entertainment. He worked with Larry and Alice Trammell and broke off and started Aspen Productions. Well, I don't know how he was so connected, but he offered our band to Microsoft as one of the bands he sent, for them to choose. And that year, Bill and Melinda were going to speak to the crowd. I mean, they don't have to show up for any of it.
Wow, no.
Do you remember Mark Eskew?
Yeah.
The Elvis impersonator?
Yeah, I do.
Well, he was the main lead male vocalist for Technicolor Radio at that time. And no, that was Music in Motion. That was right before Technicolor Radio. Okay, same players, different band name, different singer. He offered us, got booked into that, and they got all 4 ballrooms open into one big ballroom down at, is it the Hyatt or the Hilton. It's one of those right in the middle of the city that opens up, and it's a huge ball. Well, we got to play for that. We only played 2 sets, and it's Microsoft. You can imagine the kind of money that our little 5-piece band made. Sound reinforcement, staging, lighting. They hired all of that. We were in heaven, man.
Wow.
And Bill and Melinda just came out and we're doing a little slow dance in there. And Melinda leans toward me like this. And I laid down and she requested a song that any other day I could remember. And Bill said, "No, don't do that." And looked at her and said, "You know I hate that." And then they come up with another song. So I can say for just a second, I spoke to Bill and Melinda and I was playing at their gig. So
holy cow, man.
That was so cool.
That is so cool.
Yeah. And everybody that was in the band on stage remembers that day really well. Let's see, the second term of office that George W. Bush was running for had a big fundraiser at Reynolds Plantation there at Lake Oconee and the Ritz-Carlton there beside the...
Played there many, many times, yes. Love that place.
Yeah, so I don't know if the family still does, but the Bush family was heavily invested in with Mr. Reynolds on all of that there. Well, there was a fundraiser as he was running, Michael Dukakis. I don't remember who he was running against that second term, but George W., his wife Laura, and this is a real kicker, his parents were there.
Wow.
Staying with Mr. Reynolds at his house, like the family overnight. And I got to meet all of them that night. And George W. and Laura, kind of the same sort of thing, were up toward the stage. And oh man, what was so cool is the Secret Service, all the prep work that went into us even being there to play that thing, and the dogs going through
sweeping the rooms.
Stuff. Yeah, it was so cool to be that close to all of that. So there's Secret Service on the ends of our stage. When he comes out and is dancing with Laura, because he's already president going for a second term.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So lots of Secret Service, but I don't remember what they were slow dancing on, but Emotion Secret Service guy over. And Mark Eskew was there for all of this. You can verify these stories with him 100%. Emotion one like that. That's what I'm doing there. And he come over, and the guy come up to me. It was clear to them I was the band leader, and kind of does the same thing. I lean down. He says, the president, I think it was just, the president has a request. And I said, sure, whatever. And he looked back at the bushes. I couldn't see the front of his face when he looked, but it looked like he nodded or something. And they both come up to me. And the other guy on the other corner comes around, standing right there with them. And George W. said, "Do y'all do God Bless Texas?" I think that was a Confederate Railroad song or something. But Mark Eskew, of course we did it. He was an encyclopedia of any song. So, yeah, that was so cool.
Wow, man. That's amazing.
True story. And the reason I stumbled and said something about Michael Dukakis, trying to remember if that was who was running against him, but actually that's who was running against Bill Clinton. We did a big fundraiser for him right before that thing.
Really?
And got to meet, I say meet, no. And that one, we didn't meet anybody. We just got to see a lot of luminaries up close, dancing, right in front of us. And I'm sure you've played at the Atlanta Athletic Center plenty of times, right? Or Country Club of the South.
Oh, yeah. I played at both of those a lot.
Axtell Entertainment and Southeastern Events was owned by a couple of real funny, cool Hebrew ladies. And so they would, Southeastern Events and Axtell ended up booking us at a lot of weddings and stuff like that there. But we did the WSB Heart thing for like 6 years straight at Atlanta Athletic Club through Axtell Productions. Man, we met so many famous sports stars there on that night, and you had access to anybody talking to the year that the Braves, that Sid Bream moment when they went to the most of the Braves star players were there. That first year we played that for WSB. Talked to Ron Gant, John Smoltz, Sid Bream, stuff like that for an Atlanta sports fan. I mean, that stuff was fun for me. And I'm sure you probably have done a lot of gigs where you got to at least speak to or just about rub shoulders with Atlanta celebrities. And I guess when it comes to baseball and football, you're really talking to national sports figures that are admired by people in other countries. So that was always neat to be a part of that. And Bobby Jones' great granddaughter, no, would have been granddaughter because her daddy was quite an elderly man. I gave Bobby Jones, is it Bobby Jones Jr. that was just the master golfer? They built that club in honor of and around. His money funded the Atlanta Athletic Club.
Yeah.
Through my connections there, I ended up talking to Bobby Jones's either grandson or youngest son. But I gave his granddaughter guitar lessons.
Oh, wow.
Now she's a very successful mother and runs a fashion boutique and a esthetician center and all of that. But I remember her when she was all in goth, playing real doom music in my studio.
Oh, that's so funny. I remember I got hired to play it's one of the easiest gigs I ever played. I think we only played about 6 or 7 songs, but it was at the athletic club and it was a leadership event. And the 3 speakers that night were John Smoltz, Tom Glavine, and Greg Maddox. And Leo Mazzoni was in the audience. And it was, I mean, we grew up in Atlanta. I'm a Braves fan through and through. And
me too. Win, lose, whatever.
Whatever's going on this year, I'm still loving them.
That's right.
I'm with you. As an Atlanta person growing up there, getting to be around our heroes from our home city is pretty cool that we've gotten to do over the years. Yeah.
As far as just spectacular gigs that stay in mind, there were a lot of them.
Yeah.
Big crowds. I think it was you I was talking to or telling. I did play in either 92, from 92 to 94 or 95. I subbed in for this was during the summer months, for the guitar player. You can look him up easily. That had been touring for the original Temptations. I subbed in for him for like a whole summer. And I'm really easy to spot if you ever see any of that footage. I'm easy to spot in the band. And because of that, they did a lot of shows with the Drifters. And this 94, this is before everybody's passed on and been replaced with, the names carry on, the bands carry on. But the Drifters were on that tour, and I got to play with them in summer of 94 doing the same thing. And I think that might have stretched over into 95 too. But it was basically their summer stuff that they were, that was huge crowds up north, closer to closer to where I am now, like Michigan, Illinois, Chicago. Well, that's Motown R&B territory anyway. So that was awesome. experiencing those crowds, going nuts for the 4 or the 5 guys standing up there doing all the spins and all of
Yes.
that. But
Oh, and you getting to play those great guitar parts, and
right,
yeah,
Papa was a Rolling Stone. I mean, come on.
yeah, man,
Yeah, that was awesome.
yeah, that is awesome.
Those were highlights. I know anybody that's watching or listening right now probably is like, oh, what a name dropper. I'm not. You asked me if I did any memorable stuff. I mean, those were some highlights.
Well, and
All I got
it,
to play for and
yeah,
actually meet or speak to, and then some well-known acts that I just played sort of in the shadows behind
mm-hmm.
and supported. That was awesome.
Yeah, man, I'm with you. I mean, there's no need to hide getting to play those gigs that still mean something after all these years. I mean, it's amazing to get to do that stuff. Yeah, I'm with you.
And I never was the first call Top Gun for studio sessions, but I got to do a lot of them, and also was hired numerous times to help produce somebody's project. They
Hmm.
needed coordination in the studio there. That was fun, something I enjoyed dipping my toe into. And I know one of those I hired you for. We had a
Oh, that's
blast.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
yeah.
was
So
fun.
yeah, we had a great time at a good studio. Shout out to Ron Benner, Dogwood Studio.
Yeah,
That's where we played that day.
yeah, and you,
Or it was a couple of days, I think.
yeah, and I remember playing. You played at Church in the Now for a long time too, didn't you?
Like 18 or 19 years, I ended up on staff there.
Yeah, I
Uh,
played there. I think I played there one time with you. Wow, good band. Man, what a good band.
that band.
Whew.
And hats off to Jimmy Mayo, we were speaking about earlier, because he was the one that put that band together.
Yeah.
And we had horn sections, charts, everything was spot on, but we could flow in an instant and just eyes off the charts, just pay attention and let's keep going, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Or Jimmy might be playing one song. We've got everything right there in front of us. I mean, if you're a pro, you can't really screw it up unless you're not paying attention. And then all of a sudden, like the Pentecostals will say, the spirit hit or whatever, and you just take a
Yeah.
quick instant right. It was a band that could hang and just do that. We just
Yeah.
gelled together. And I miss that more than any other gig I've ever done. That playing with those guys twice a week for 19 years. You talk about learning from playing with others.
Yeah.
I really got my chops together during
Yeah.
those 19 years.
Well, and
And for half of that time, George Sandler was the drummer right
mhm.
behind me
Yeah.
for 9 or 10 of those years.
Wow. Yeah.
Incredible.
Well, and I did a similar thing, played at a church for a long time, and it was the same thing, getting to play consistently with the same people, just improving, but at the same time too, just the fellowship, you
Yes.
it was like going to therapy a lot of weeks, just sitting in the
Yes.
green room talking with your buddies about what's going on in your life, and it transcends the getting to play music together on stage.
It does. I was raised in church. My dad's a pastor. He still would be. He has Alzheimer's. I was always the open-minded one in the family, the one they call the black sheep. Uh, so it was a Christian upbringing I had, but all I want out of people is just for them to be kind and toward me and to others.
Yeah.
I don't care what religion they are. Just don't cause any trouble for me. I sure won't make any for you. You're good in my book.
Yeah.
But what they call that fellowship of believers, I guess that's a cliche, but it's kind of like what you're talking about there in the green room. Always needed that. And
Yeah, me too.
I have missed it since I've been here these 2 months, and really looking forward to getting plugged back into it.
Yeah.
Glad that pastor spotted me and spoke to me today at the fair.
Yeah, I know, man. I know. Well, Eddie, this has been an absolute pleasure getting to see your face and talk to you and honestly get to learn a lot about you. We play gigs together, people play together for years and don't get to find out a lot of the background information about somebody. So it's really cool to know more about your journey. And, I can safely say that you've probably left an indelible mark on music that you will never fully comprehend because of all the people you've taught and all the musicians that look up to you, myself included, that you've played with over the years. And I just want to say thank you for that.
Well, thank you, and I'll tell you something that will thank you to you. I've always liked the Beatles and the Allman Brothers, but they weren't up there for me. I played like 3 or 4 gigs with you and George Sandler, and y'all called out so much Beatles and Allman Brothers stuff, and I was barely hanging on. Dude, I have done my homework since then. Anybody needs somebody to play Beatles and Allman Brothers out in Ohio?
Eddie's your guy. Eddie's your guy. He's these two dudes in Georgia made him have to learn all these songs years ago.
Well, thank you, Brad.
Eddie, best of luck to you, man. It's good to see you, and just keep doing what you're doing, man.